and hello again. Welcome to this video about how to write your critical review. Critical reviews are fun. I know I've said this before for all the other things, but I think critical reviews are my favorite thing. As a researcher, you have to write them. Usually your introduction to an article is a bit like a critical review, and I love it. I love it, and I hope you'll come to love it too. So let me show you how it is done. What you have to do, you have to choose from one of the following 4 questions, just whichever one interests you the most. Does your appearance really matter in job interviews? Does note-taking during lectures help you learn? How effective is court-imposed therapy on offenders? And are iPads and tablets bad for young children's development? So choose a question, something you would like to explore. And then you need to find 4 articles, peer-reviewed articles, that investigate this problem, this question, or part of it, because you probably won't find one article that exactly answers that question. So you need to find articles that investigate it in some way. What you need to include in your critical review is a summary of each article, so the reader knows what was done in this study. So it needs to be a very concise summary. So it needs to include what was the background theory that it's based on, what method did they use, what did they find, and what did they conclude. And when you look at a peer-reviewed article's abstract, that's the short bit above the main body of the article, that abstract is a very good way to practice writing about an article in a short form, because that includes everything that you need to know. So after you've done that, you've discussed, or you've summarized your article, then you need to discuss the strengths and weaknesses of the article. How do you do that? Well, we will have some practice in that. During the practicals, you will be asked to complete what's called how to read a scientific article exercise, which prepares you for the critical review. So we will show you how you can sort of tease apart the strengths and weaknesses of an article. And you just apply that to this assignment as well. So there's that, and there is the critical thinking guide, which is on my Aberdeen, which you can use to help you write this. So you've summarized it, you've discussed the strengths and weakness, and then you need to come to a conclusion as to which of the 4 articles that you found is the best one. And again, the how to read a scientific article exercise will help you judge. So we won't just drop you in deep water without buoyancy aids. We will give you some guidelines how to do that. So this is all about critical thinking, and that's why this assignment comes at the very end of the semester, because it's it wouldn't be right to do that right at the start, but it's better at the end when you've had some practice, and it builds up to that gradually. And the word limit is 1500, which is quite a lot more than what you've been doing in previous assignments. Now what you need to include, which is not part of the word count, is a statement about how you used peer feedback. Because 2 weeks before the deadline, you will be asked to bring a draft to class, and that draft is being read by the person sitting next to you, and you'll be reading theirs, and you give each other feedback, and you need to tell your tutor how you used that feedback. So it's not included in the word count, which means you can write as much or as little as you like. So what should it look like in terms of layout? You're free to decide how you do that, as long as you avoid 2 things. Avoid at all costs bullet points. Bullet points have no place in psychology essays. Also, you need to write in full sentences. Usually when you avoid bullet points, you'll also avoid sentences without a verb, for example. So make sure you don't do those 2 things. So there are 2 ways you could structure it. You could either summarize and critique each article and then move on to the next and then you end with an overall comparison. That's what I would do, because that makes it quite concise. Or you could first summarize each article and then critique each article, so in a separate section, and then you compare them. That, I think, will give you have to repeat things. I think it would be easier to do it the first way, but how you do that is up to you, whatever feels natural to you. There should be a reference list at the end in APA style. Why do I have to do it? Apart from the fact that it's actually fun, believe me, critically evaluating other people's work, that's what science is about, at least psychological science, because we don't know the true state of the world. Yeah, if we knew what the reality was, if we had an objective standard against which we could measure our research outcome, we wouldn't have to do the research. We don't know. So the only way to sort of move forward in science is to scrutinize each other's work, to really look at, are we moving in the right direction? Are we not biased? And so piece by piece we uncover things about human nature. So it is a human interpretation process, and you need to learn that as early in the process as possible. So critical thinking is important for science, but of course it's important in so many aspects of life. I won't mention any names about political candidates, but I'm sure that critical thinking skills help you vote for the right person. Again, I won't mention any names. It's really important. You need to use those skills. Also, it helps you, going on a review website, reading reviews, writing your own reviews about products, and when you have a job, trying to persuade your colleagues about the logic and the sense of something, it helps. Being able to think critically helps you to persuade others. So it's a skill that you'll have for life, and it's one of the best skills to have. When do you have to do it? It's similar to previous assignments. It's on the day of your practical in the week, in this case beginning the 13th of November, so before midnight on the day of when you normally have your class. How will it be marked? This is the top half of the marking sheet that your tutors will use. So you can see how many points you can get for each thing. That shows you also how important we think certain things are. So are all 4 articles relevant to the chosen question? You get 2 points for that. You'll be surprised that some people actually choose articles that have nothing to do with the question. It has happened. Are all 4 articles summarized in a concise and complete way? So you can get 2 points for that per article. Are strengths and weaknesses of each article discussed? Again, you get 2 points per article. And then you get 4 points in total for your conclusion, where you compare the articles and make a decision as to which one is the best. As you can see here, there are no marks for correct APA, no marks for academic writing. That's not because they're not important, they're very important, but you've already had an assignment about that. And in this particular case, we want our marking to be mainly reflecting your critical thinking skills and your summarizing skills. So that's why. Frequently asked questions. This is the question I get the most often. What if I go over the word count? I've written 3,000 words and the deadline is tomorrow. What do I do? Well, don't go over the word count. You will lose marks, and that's a similar reason to what I said for the annotated bibliography, because when you write more, you will be able to include more things. You will include more argument for why an article is good or bad, which puts you at an advantage towards your peers, which we counteract by taking off marks, just to keep things fair. But 1500 words is very, very little. How can I, write everything I want to say in such a short space? First of all, it's great that you've got a lot to say. That's brilliant. And certainly when you come to write your thesis, which is 9,000 words, having lots to say will be really handy. But this particular exercise, apart from teaching you critical thinking, it also helps you to learn how to write in a concise way. And that's a very important thing to be able to do. When you can write concisely, you can write more in less. And that's important for when you want to publish your articles, because all journals will have a very strict word limit. So learning to write concisely, how to do that? First of all, by reading a lot, because all the articles that you read will have had that word limit, so they will have had to write things more concisely, so you pick up the way they write things. Also, there's the academic writing handout on my Aberdeen, which has some examples in it of frequently used phrases that can be shortened. Now I am also the writing person in the school. I provide help with essays and things like that. So if you are stuck how to write something in a concise way, then you can come to me with a particular paragraph and I can help you with that. I can't help you with content, obviously that wouldn't be fair, but I can help you with the actual writing of it. Can I use non-peer reviewed articles? No, similar reason for why you couldn't do it for the answer to bibliography. We really want you to get into the habit of reading peer reviewed stuff. And cat, seagull and Santa reindeer related arguments or questions and reasons, again the answer to that is no. So I hope you will enjoy writing your critical review, get stuck into that and really dig deep and see what you can discover. So I'll see you in the next video.